you don't know what the hell anyone is saying to you. They can't tell you to do anything because you won't understand. It's so much easier over here. Hold up, bitch. You didn't see me growing up, having to learn 2 languages, having to do like twice the work. Like, unless you've lived through it, you don't know how much someone has had to pull themselves out of that dark place. I'm back. Welcome back to my channel. To like the 5 people who see this. Dude, I've been wanting to play with makeup for like the past month or 2. So I'm not at the time to like sit down and do some shit, you know what I mean? I will finally be able to do that today. So I'm gonna be talking about my experience because that's all I can really talk about, you know? I can't, like, I can pull shit out of my ass, but I'd rather talk about real shit, you know? Real shit that actually happened to me that I can like speak to, right? Con el nopal en la frente. I am obviously like not white. The fucking government wants to say that I'm fucking white. Bitch, I'm not white. Yes, I was born here, but bitch, my parents are from Mexico. Yeah, don't you hear when people ask, where are you from? And then you're over there like a fucking idiot.
Pues, yo nací aquí, pero mis padres son de México, like de Guerrero, México, yeah. Yeah.
You're like fucking idiot. I don't know, because then they look at you like, I don't know why I feel weird, but when I say that, but whatever. Anyway, so we're gonna talk about 7-year-old me, the struggles of learning fucking English, and how I neglected Spanish, which is why I sometimes get like embarrassed to speak Spanish because I'm like 22 years old. I used to speak way more fluent Spanish, like in middle school, especially when I took Spanish class, because then I learned like the difference between like una alfombra y una carpeta. I felt like the baddest bitch, you know? But it all went downhill because, you know, like whitewashing, just me playing myself, right? And then I also want to talk about why it was hard for me to come to terms with my sexuality because of like the people around me and shit like that, you know? And about how this all ties into present day with my business and, you know, what I do now and like why you're even watching this YouTube video. So all of that. And if you like relate to some of the things I talk about, that would be kind of sad. But like kind of awesome too, because one good and bad thing about TikTok is that it caters your feed to what you like. And me being a gay ass Mexican, like I see a lot of gay ass Mexicans and it's so cute seeing them at the clubs, like by, you know, dancing and shit, or like gay like Mexican couples, like people that look like me have like a cute relationship, and I'm like, oh, you know, that shit's so cute, like fucking Wednesday. I never saw that before. It made me feel like, bitch, maybe like your experience growing up isn't that unique. Like in a good way, I guess. If you guys relate, please let me know down below because it'd be cool to, you know, write back to you and shit like that. Okay, anyway, so I have primer on, fuck, like, jeez. We're just gonna take it back to kindergarten because I didn't go to pre-K, we weren't bougie for that. And I went into kindergarten not knowing any freaking English because obviously my parents didn't know English. And I was their first kid. All my cousins were like the same age, so like, what the fuck, like where the fuck was I gonna learn English, you know? I remember like the first day in kindergarten when like my mom dropped me off and stuff, and I was bawling my eyes out. I mean, think about it, that shit's terrifying. You don't know what the hell anyone is saying to you, and you were just dropped off with all these kids speaking like another language that you don't know. Like, what the fuck are you gonna think? They can't tell you to do anything because you won't understand. It was kind of like, instead of going into like a little kiddie pool and like learning how to swim, you graduating to like swimming in a bigger pool or like in the ocean or something like that. I was like dropped straight into the ocean, not knowing how to swim, and like you figure it out. And I'm low-key kind of grateful for that because I learned like pretty fast. You can learn languages really well and really fast when you're that young. And then basically when I could, my mom would take me, you know, to doctor's appointments and stuff for like her or for me or for like my sisters. And my like 7-year-old ass was there translating. What does this mean? Like, what does this form say? Like, I don't remember, but you know, all these like words that like a 7-year-old doesn't typically know because their fucking mom does all that shit for them, you know, like when you go to the doctors. No, bitch, I had to fucking learn and know what the fuck they're talking about, and like that shit isn't easy. And I bring up like learning English at that age because like, everyone like me learned English in kindergarten, especially if, you know, you were like the firstborn, right? If you had like older siblings, like how my younger siblings, they had me, so I taught them, you know, English before they went to school, but you know, I didn't have that. A lot of like the Mexican kids, like me, like in my grade, right? We were all in the same boat. Like our parents just came here and we were all learning English together. This leads into what I mean by like whitewashing. The more English I was learning, the more I was like, I don't know, I feel like I just saw that like, well, this Mexican part of me like only exists when I go home. There's no point in you bringing it to like school. Learn how to do this, forget about that, learn English, learn this, learn that. You know, there was no space for us to also appreciate our Mexican culture or any of that. I feel like that's like where like the whitewashing kind of started, to where like I didn't see an importance of like holding that culture, you know, it's close to my heart, put in the effort to also keep learning Spanish, and it's still now something I low-key regret because I'm like, damn, like now I'm kind of embarrassed of speaking Spanish. But like, I've come a long way, girl. I've come a long way. Being a first generation everything, learning the language here, like getting acostumbrado to all this shit wasn't easy. I was the first one to do this, first to do that, and there was no one there telling me or telling my family how to do stuff. We kind of just had to do our best, right?
Yeah.
And all, you know, some just shit like that, right? And then my dumbass, I was like, what? What is that? Like, what's going on, you know? And she would get like the other fucking kids in her class to like, not all of them, but like some of them that were like her friends and shit, you know, also call me those names. Like, I remember them being fake as fuck. And I didn't quite really understand, I think, fully, like, what the fuck was going on, right? It was, you know, until then that I learned about what the fuck gay even was. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Where it really was a big deal, I guess, was, you know, for me in here, me at home. That's when I started to awaken to certain things. My parents and, you know, people around me, and for them, first of all, it was something they didn't talk about. Second of all, it wasn't good. Third of all, because we're Catholic, it's a sin. You know, imagine being like that young and you having to process all of that. And then you're thinking to yourself, am I this thing that they're saying? Am I really like this disgusting being, this fucking walking sin? Am I just destined for doom? Like, I grew up really fast. At that time, there was no one in my circle that I could look up to, or anyone that I could relate to, or anyone to actually explain to me, bitch, you're fucking fine. Like, bitch, don't listen to these fucking people. They don't fucking know what they're talking about. That shit fucked with my mind, and to this day, I'm working hard to rewire that. You don't understand how far someone has to go mentally. The journey of that self-acceptance and that self-love. Like, unless you've lived through it, you don't know how much someone has had to pull themselves out of that dark place that society has just pushed and pushed and pushed them into. And like, for someone like me to be here like, I'm doing my makeup and talking about life and I don't give a two motherfucking damns about what you think. For me to get here, it's taken me a lot. And I'm so proud of myself for that. And I feel like part of why I do it is that I hopefully can be that, not role model, because bitch, being a role model is a lot of work. But you know, just be that someone, these kids growing up, so they don't feel as alone, as isolated, as shitty about themselves at such a young fucking age like I did. You know, being gay and Mexican, it's just, you know, the greatest mix. I totally recommend it. When I started to figure out, damn, bitch, I am gay. Cool, alright. Then it was like, damn, bitch, like, you're gay. You know what that fucking means? You have to go up against all these people who think that it's bad, that it's a sin, that it's a choice, that it's disgusting, all these, you know, fucking things. Majority, not all, but the majority of like Mexican men especially, are like misogynistic and they're homophobic as fuck. And what I've learned recently from being around a lot of Mexican men, bitch, that's the way they connect. That's the way they tell jokes. That's the way that they become friends with other men. You know how fucking weird that is? That's how they bond. Not all men, right? Like, the cool ass men, you know, you're cool. You're like a normal human being. But the ones who are not, like, bitch, that's how they are. Also women too, and I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? Like, you're a woman. Like, you should know what it feels like to be treated less than just because of what you are. And these homophobic ass women, I'm like, bitch, what the fuck you doing? You look stupid as fuck. You're not safe either. You're not safe from these misogynistic, homophobic ass fucking bitches. Somebody tell her. Anyway, and I feel like I've struggled for the longest somewhere in my head that I'm like, oh, I need to make them like me, make them understand. But I've just realized that, bitch, like, fuck, I don't know how you say it, pero like, como están montados en su burro y de allí no los vas a bajar, algo así. And it's true. I'm just not gonna make those people understand, and I need to be okay with that. They can go fuck off, just how like, they don't want anything to do with me. Like, bitch, don't try to sit there, wrap your head around how you're gonna change your mind. Before, I was just so worried about what can I do to make them feel comfortable. ¿Qué puedo yo hacer para que ellos se sientan más cómodos? Que ellos no se sientan de un modo porque yo, you know, I'm gay, like, esté en su presencia o algo así, o de, you know, cualquier cosa. I was so worried about how they were gonna feel about me just existing, than how I felt in situations. Now I know, like, bitch, take care of yourself. That's all you kind of can do, you know? Like, growing up, I just always thought that And that's why I was always just so like reserved, so shy. I was just trying to hide, you know, who I was. School, I was always that overachieving ass kid. Always got A's and B's. High school, I was in honors classes, college classes. I was just really into art. That's where my passion for makeup and design and product development and all that bullshit, like that's where it started, you know, with art. That was my escape. That was the one thing I had, was the one thing that I could just be good at and work twice as hard to, you know, show everyone, hey, I'm good at something. I have value. It doesn't matter what I feel, whether I'm gay or not, whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter if I'm depressed as fuck. Like, fuck that. Like, who cares? Like, I have A's. Fuck depression, you know? That's how I coped with it, I guess. I just threw myself into all that. Looking back at it now, I'm like, wow, you went through a lot, bitch. I'm gonna go in with the Divina palette. Always had this internal struggle with myself as, do I tell people? Do I show people? I kind of feel like dumb forever struggling with that, because now I realize, bitch, life is so short. You're here one day and the next you're not. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful that you're still here. Like, be grateful that you have another opportunity to like continue. Siempre ha tenido ese miedo de que, ay, ¿qué va a pensar la gente? Y que cómo va a sentir la gente? Y todo esto. Y like, tenía que parar y pensar, wait a minute, ¿cómo te sientes tú? Are you good? No importa lo que piensen los otros, porque hartas veces todos están preocupados por su propia vida y sus problemas. Like, nadie está preocupado por mí. La gente siempre va a encontrar algo que no les parece bien. No importa lo que la gente diga, y si les caigo mal, pues fucking deal with it, bitch. I don't give a fuck. That's like one of the key points that I hope you guys take away from this, is that like, bitch, don't be like me where I wasted time hiding myself and shit like that. Like, bitch, that shit is not fun. Now that brings us to present day. When I got out of high school is when I kind of realized shit. Like, I went to college and bitch, if like, ooh, that is, I need to make a whole nother video for that part of my life. The most depressed I've ever been, bitch. Like, the one good thing about college is that I realized that like, holy fuck, this way that I'm going is not what I want to do at all. Like, I do not want to be here. I do not want to be with these people. I do not want to do what I thought I wanted to do. So I'm glad I like figured it out, right? When me and my sister were planning her quinceañera, which was in 2018, and around that time, that's when like more like, you know, me, this is through my lens, through what I saw in like the culture. A lot of like Mexican stuff is what I was seeing on Instagram, like what was popular. Like, it was cool to be Mexican. I don't know, like not out of nowhere, right? Like that was always a thing, right? But it wasn't in my center of, like 2016 to 2018, like that's when like, you know, Mexican shit, like Tierra Caliente shit, that's when it was growing and stuff. And I remember this is when my sister actually found her, Hillary, love her. She was like, their accounts are increasing, like, you know, Jose, Uriel, like we work with them still, like they're cool. And obviously like Vidi, I remember Vidi, El Guache Cochino, like around that time, that's when those people were like on the map. Right, that's when like, you know, shit started, right? And now we're like here in 2023. It's not a trend, but it's just like, it is now big. And like, I was like curious about it, so I looked up on Google Trends. But at least the keyword Tierra Caliente has been increasing throughout the years, and it peaked like around 2018. So I'm right. So yes, around that time is like when it was, you know, boom, like that. All of a sudden it was like in your face. And it's kind of funny because when me and my sister started to work together on stuff, like it started with her quinceañera, and then we were like, this is like really cool. I worked making events before, like for high school. We should do something. We were like, well, what do we want to do? Do you want to make like an event planning business or like something? This is like another video we should like do. But then she started to like resell lashes that like she found online. We saw that was going like pretty good. Oh my gosh, let me put some freaking ice cream on. So we were like, bitch, like let's turn this into a real thing. That's how we were working on Chula Beauty, or what became Chula Beauty. We had everything almost ready like by, I think like March or something. I think March. And then like COVID happened, bitch, and that shit was wild. I mean, not wild, but like, you know, it's not something to joke about. But you know, then that happened, and then we were like, well, what the fuck do we do with these lashes, bitch? We just ordered all these lashes. So we kind of like waited a little bit, and like things got better, right? Because it was just up and down, and just, you know, terrible. But we like decided, you know what, May, this time, let's just do it. Let's see what happens. And that's what we did. I may be talented as AF, but I'm still a man And I feel like men can't do two things at once, bitch. Like, someone tell me, am I right? Am I right? The, you know, the Tierra Caliente, like, movement, resurgence, whatever you want to call it, like, being pulled to the forefront now is because of people who are like me, I would say, like my generation, my, you know, people around my age, around my sister's age. We grew up with this music. Now we're old enough to go to the clubs, bitch. Now we're old enough to, like, drink legally. I feel like we're all finding, you know, that pride, that joy in this culture that we grew up with, but we didn't have the opportunity to really appreciate it because we were just so stuck on, like, school and all this fucking bullshit and all this other stuff. Your Mexican-ness wasn't, like, your top priority, and then now that you're kind of, like, free, you're just like, oh yeah, I'm Mexican as fuck. You know, you're just more proud of it. I don't know how to explain that. I feel like that's what's going on, right? Or that's what has been happening. And then, you know, now, like, these grupos, like, more of them are coming here. They're, like, touring, they're having shows. There are brand new artists all the time, brand new grupos as well, like, because of TikTok. Especially TikTok has really, like, changed music, how we consume music. And music is at the center of culture, period. That's why, like, we're having this new, you know, this thing, and not just Tierra Caliente, right? All in Mexico. And I honestly love to see that. I love to see that, because it's like, bitch, like, yes, somos mexicanos, and what? ¿Y qué? ¿Y ni modo? ¿Qué vas a hacer? What a great time to be alive, bitch. Like, what a great time. We're in the middle of a revolution, bitch. I low-key should put liner, curl my lashes, and all that stuff, but it's really late. And I'm gonna be lazy, but I will put on lashes because, period. Like, how would I? We have Lash Lover here, cute. You guys need this. I have misplaced kilos. No, just kidding. I did not. My mom did. I let her borrow it, but she never gave it back. So that's a problem for me. I love setting spray. We need to make our own. In general, that's kind of like the big summary of how my life was growing up as a gay Mexican American kid in America. Anything, or want to add anything to the conversation, or think I should, like, do another video on something else, like, let me know down below. And if you've made it this far, please leave, like, 3 blue hearts. Yes, so, like, I know that, like, you made it to this part, so I know, like, people were fucking watching this video, you know what I mean? That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. And what would be even better is if you subscribe to my channel. I really do want to make more videos. Like, I like making videos, but like I said, time and all this other bullshit. But, like, you know what? When there's a will, there's a way, and I just need to, like, make an effort to make more videos. But yeah, let me know what I should do, you know? Please, please, please subscribe. Por favor. I'll leave the links down below if you want to check out my brand, Chula Beauty. If you want to follow me, if you want to follow us, you know, and all that good stuff. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Filming by yourself is so hard. This doesn't even look that bad. I feel like I look like an egg. And my eyes are, like, red because I'm really tired. Look at that. These are all natural.